Corn, or maize, maíz, does not exist in the wild, nor can it reproduce itself with its husk-encased kernels. Farmers in present-day southern Mexico engineered the species through the meticulous cultivation of teosinte around 10,000 years ago. The Maya traditionally grow maize in milpas, fields sown with a cornucopia of native crops like avocados, squash, beans, melons, tomatoes, chiles, and sweet potatoes. This holistic foil to modern-day monoculture not only yields a higher output of nutritionally denser produce per acre, but ensures the vitality of the soil, with some milpas having operated for 4,000 years straight. The start of large-scale land clearing for milpas around 1800 BCE mirrors the emergence of the Olmec, the first great Mesoamerican civilization. They wrote their own histories in their own written languages on fig tree bark paper, fashioned 3 calendars, including a 365-day secular calendar more accurate than the Gregorian, and discovered 0 by at least 36 BCE. So central was maize to the neighboring Maya, the first great cultivators of corn, that in their creation story, Popol Vuh, humans were created out of maize. The Maya were truly self-made. Maize radiated from Oaxaca to Teotihuacan, a vast city-state that arose around the time of Christ. Its grandiose architecture and religious imagery greatly influenced the Aztecs 1,000 years later, who organized pilgrimages to the already ruined city. We then follow maize to the Sonoran Desert. From 900 to 1450 CE, Hohokam people built an 800-mile canal system lined with clay, watering vast maize fields flanked by multi-story buildings and ball courts evoking the Maya. Maize, adapted for a cooler climate, fed the Mississippian metropolis of Cahokia, the largest pre-Columbian city north of Mexico. By the 12th century, irrigation and transportation canals encircled plazas and 120 artificial earthworks, Monk's Mound being larger at its base than the Great Pyramid of Giza. Cahokia rivaled the size of London and served as the principal urban nexus for regional trade. With its collapse in the 14th century due to floods, deforestation, earthquakes, and subsequent unrest, so disappeared its true name. Cahokia refers to a people who moved to the area much later. The spread of maize across North and South America highlights millennia of pre-Columbian trade and cultural networks, connecting a continent on the move, a movement now inhibited by militarized borders. The word boycott derives from Charles Cunningham Boycott, an English army officer born in 1832. He occupied Ireland with the 39th Regiment of the British Army, before pivoting into real estate there. John Crichton, 3rd Earl Erne, an avaricious absentee landlord of County Mayo, employed Boycott as an estate manager to enforce the high rents he deployed through frequently violent evictions. In opposition to this exploitation stood Irish nationalist Charles Stewart Parnell and the Land League, who pushed for the 3 Fs: fair rent, fixity of tenure, and free sale amidst the First Irish Land War. While Lord Erne okayed a 10% rent reduction due to a less productive harvest in 1880, his tenants desired a 25% reduction. Lord Erne refused, and Boycott intended to evict 11 more residents with the help of police. In response, farmers on his lands withheld their labor. His stable boys abandoned their steeds. Local shopkeepers and postmen ostracized him by refusing to serve him. This was a campaign of isolation. Boycott escalated the situation by writing to the Times in London about his plight. He described howling mobs of people on his lands who threatened loyal employees with murder. English newspapers like the Daily Telegraph crowdfunded to send 50 Ulster loyalists to work the unmanned farms. Over 1,000 royalist men guarded the scabs as they cultivated potatoes and turnips. A military expenditure of £10,000 yielded only £500 worth of crops. This first boycott resulted in the introduction of the Land Law Act of 1881, formalizing the 3 Fs and fostering dual ownership of land between tenant and landlord. Boycott returned to England in shame and took on a new role as a land agent in Suffolk until his death. His name, now co-opted and recontextualized, represents a rerouting and reclamation of power, capitalist society dispossesses you of your means of survival and threatens you with poverty to coerce you into selling your labor to buy back your means of survival. Your labor produces value, but who ends up with it? Are you truly free if you can't stop working? The boycott is hyper-individualism turned on its head.